Recently, the Nigerian Labour Congress, which is the umbrella body of Nigerian workers, criticized what it called the disrespect to democratic norms in the way the two major political parties in the land are going about preparations for next year's general election. NLC said it will work for the emergence of a third force on the political terrain that will be more responsive to the socio-political and economic yearnings and aspirations of the long-suffering Nigerian workers. Together with a host of other so-called smaller political parties, it has gone on to back the African Democratic Congress as that mega party. But how does this super coalition of forces begin to turn the immense potential of Nigerians who have become disenchanted by misgovernance into real-time conviction and registration of voters and turning out to vote on the day? Joining us now to go through all of that, as well as his expectations of the new governor in Anambra State, is Chief Ralph Okey Nwosu, a politician, national stakeholder, leadership expert, and national chairman, African Democratic Congress. Good morning, Chief Okey. Good to have you join us.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Good to have you. Let me start with this. I know that you're also from Anambra. Yes, we will talk about your party, and the mega party and all that. But then I would like to start, with what happened in your state. A new governor has been installed, Professor Charles Soludo, former CBN governor. But then we saw what happened on that day. I know that as an Anambrarian, you will have been touched one way or the other. Do you think that this is the sort of a thing that the polity should be witnessing? Given the fact that people will think that, it's the two major political parties that are usually, making the bad news. It's either APC or PDP. But this is ABGA, Ojuku's party, in Anambra, the heartbeat of the Igbo land. The thing that happened that day, which nearly took the shine of Soludo's inauguration, how will you assess it? And what would be your candid advice to those two women, if I may ask you?
I want to appreciate you again. Let me use this opportunity to say special congratulations to my brother Soludo, Governor Soludo, after his inauguration yesterday. What happened is should not take the shine out of the history-making occasion that happened in Anambra State. Soludo Imagine the governor shows the power of endurance. Soludo had attempted to be governor sometime about 12 years ago. He didn't succeed. And then he decided to patch his political aspiration with APGA. And he's stayed in APGA and tried as much as possible to guide the last administration through that 8 years. And you can see, I tell people in leadership, endurance is needed for you to achieve some goals. So, as for the inauguration was a very good thing. Apart from the ceremony of that day, a lot of things had happened within the last 1 month, where he put together some great minds to plot the way moving forward. But having said that, APGA and the other two parties, they all fall into the same basket. And that's why Nigerians are looking forward. Now, APGA fall into the same basket. It's just that it's contained in a small container in Anambra State. But the political culture in our land has been formed by APGA for the last almost 20 years, and PDP and APC. And that political culture is toxic. What happened is just that part of that toxicity. That culture is what we are all out to change now. But the only aspect of what I didn't like is that when Soludo started his campaign, for this last governorship election, some people were killed. And I was thinking that they should have used that occasion to show respect and honor for those people who lost their life the same day he started his campaign. That's one. And also a lot of people that were killed during the whole electioneering period, because it wasn't a good sight at all. I hope he will have time within the next 1 week to do something about that. But what happened in Anambra State is just more or less the culture of the land. I mean, people are fighting, people are aggressive, people are agitating everywhere, across Nigerian streets. People are agitating. You go to government houses, you go to the National Assembly, everywhere people are agitated and people are fighting.
All righty. Well, thank you for that. I'm sure that you had your eyes on the inauguration itself, and aside from the swearing in of a new lease of political life, a new leader, there was also on the sidelines an altercation that in some instances has eclipsed the inauguration ceremony itself. I'm talking about the altercation between the former First Lady of Anambra State and Mrs. Bianca Ojukwu. When you looked at that footage, I'm sure that you've seen the videos that have been circulating on social media. If you could give us your thoughts in terms of what you think that means for the future of Anambra, or if there has been no real material difference that has happened in the aftermath of that altercation. We'd like your thoughts.
Just as I said before, agitations, people who are, I mean, when you're in a toxic system, toxicity shows up in different ways. We have disharmony in the, as far as the culture we have is concerned. I mean, I think why this is making the biggest of news is that the outgoing First Lady, and then more or less the person who should be regarded as the mother of APGA, because APGA is associated with Ikemba, and then Bianca is the face, the living face of Ikemba. What happened is not good, definitely, but fighting is going on in government houses on a daily basis. So we shouldn't make too much out of this. It's an unfortunate situation, but it just shows the arrogance and the attitude of people who take over government in Nigeria, whether it's in Anambra or in the villa, at the National Assembly. Fighting is going on you know, we have fights. People are agitated. Nigerians are not happy, but, you know, what happened in Anambra is not different from what is happening in all the government houses on a daily basis. On a daily basis, I can tell you. The culture is not good, and that's why a lot of different groups, technocrats, and everybody are coming together to change the situation right now. All right, Chief Okey Nwosu. For me...
Yeah. Go on, sir. Please land on your thought. Go on, please.
No, I said I appeal to Nigerians not to put Anambra on a different pedestal. Look at Anambra State in context of the whole country. Nothing, I mean, these people are, I mean, they are wives of some a former governor and the leader of the Igbos, and so. But they are just human beings like all of us.
All right, all right, Chief. I would like your thoughts on two key things. You know, the first is Anambra, and the second one will be on you know, aspirations of your party at the federal level. First is Governor Soludo has come out with what he terms the Soludo solution, you know, pegging it on 5 key pillars: tech, you know, job creation, using entertainment and the creative economy, security, etc. I'm not sure how much your candidate fared, at the elections. But then, is this the kind of a thing that you want Anambra? Is this the direction that you want Anambra to be headed at this time, given the fact that, we've had 8 years of Governor Peter Obi, we have had 8 years of Governor Willie Obiano, and then we're starting, on a new journey with Professor Charles Soludo. What, in your opinion, do you think that Anambra needs, and do you think that the Soludo solution, fits into the basic needs of Anambrians? And secondly, is your aspirations, the aspirations of your party at the federal level, how much of truth can we deduce from the permutations that the mega party, so-called, will use ADC, your party, to actualize forming an alternative structure outside of the two leading parties, the APC and the PDP? And how will that pan out? Are we likely to have Kwakwanso, Governor Donald Duke, and all the other people who are agitating for a different field? If that is the situation, how much of originality will your party be putting forward, given the fact that what you are basically trying to project to Nigerians is to pull people from APC and especially PDP to form a third force? Is this true? If it is,
no. You're getting it wrong.
Okay.
For the first time, the ADC has been under construction. ADC has been under construction. When we registered ADC in 2006, it wasn't like we wanted to take power the next 4 years or the next 8 years. We knew then it was going to be a long haul. Just as I said with Soludo's success, endurance. And in endurance, we're plotting. If you recall, in 2018, after due diligence by eminent Nigerians of all the political parties in Nigeria, other than PDP and APC, President Obasanjo and his group said ADC is the best party to move this country forward. Again, in 2019, a lot of due diligence by different organizations, the civil society group, NCF, Nigerian Labour Congress, and every concerned Nigerians. They've done their due diligence, and they've come again to pinpoint on ADC. That means there's something special about ADC. And we are going to go into it. Right now, we have the largest collection of technocrats, corporate Nigerians, labor, coming together to say enough is enough. And this time, it's not just enough is enough with ordinary mouth, but enough is enough with action. And very soon, all of this will be unloaded. Then going to the Soludo solution and Anambra State, Soludo is a great economist and a fine scholar. Anambra State is a peculiar state. All the former governors that we've had in Anambra State have tried to, in a way, containerize Anambra State as if it's different from Nigeria. Anambra politics as if it's different from Nigeria. That I will advise Soludo not to go that path. Because, as a matter of fact, any state now should be looking globally, not just only in Nigerian context. You should be looking globally. And globally, number one, how do you make your people more competitive, whether locally or not just within Nigeria, but globally? You want to produce the best heads to serve the new world. Because nowadays, yes, all of us are Nigerians, but you discover that a lot of people are becoming international citizens and so on. So it's important that any leader should be, while you're within the local scene, you are thinking globally and try to picture how your people, the people that you govern or you lead, how they're featuring globally and how they will feature in the global market. So I think Soludo has the skill to be able to do that. But that skill will manifest if he brings APGA out of where it is presently, too localized, and start to put APGA on a big scale. Big scale, when we are talking about new Nigeria, Nigeria in Africa, APGA should be playing. It's most irresponsible of leaders to feel that, no, I can stay in my village and lead in my village as if your village is not part of the world. Anambra is part of Nigeria. Anambra is part of Africa. Anambra is part of the world. And luckily, you have good people in Anambra State, industrialists and so on, who can service not only Anambra State, they can service Nigeria, they can service Africa, and they can compete globally. So why do you treat it with the party psyche of cocoonery? So you get out of that, Soludo will do very, very well. And I believe he has the skill to so do, and the endurance he has shown to be able to capture APGA and take power, take the leadership. I want him to show proper leadership by aligning the party and the state to the rest of Nigeria and Africa.
But in which areas specifically will you want him to focus on? A lot of people will say that Governor Peter Obi did very well in his 8 years. He was prudent, just like Professor Soludo. It was like a homegrown solution to Anambra's problem. But then the problem still, persist. So in which key areas will you advise Charles Soludo to focus on? He has reeled out the 5 key areas that he thinks that Anambra will need in him. But from your own perspective, what will you say to him? 2 or 3 key areas that you think will uplift, the living standard and to key Anambra into, the federal structure as you have advised. How will you want him to tackle those areas?
Paying attention to the populace, human empowerment, youth empowerment. If you go to Anambra State, for instance, with young quality minds and so on, at times, and then a lot of our people are into some form of entrepreneurship and trading. And we have a lot of universities in the state. How many of them offer the courses that will help the local traders? For instance, he took Harvard to study to start to develop the Igbo apprentice system. Meanwhile, we've had a lot of scholars in Nsukka, for instance, before the new Anambra State was created, the old Anambra State, and now we have Nnamdi Azikiwe University, we have Odumegwu Ojukwu University, and other private universities, and so on. There are courses that will empower our people a lot more. Entrepreneurship, and with special niche in the trading area, with special niche in the entertainment is good because our people are quite good. You put in a little a budget in that area, and also not just throwing the money. That's part of my areas of concern with economists and accountants. They construct solutions, and they just think solutions is just you throw in some budget. You have to be emotionally and personally involved. For instance, you build a quality stadium for young people to go and play different kind of sports. You discover that if your heart is not there, you just throw in money there, it may never develop. But I want to see a governor who supports the young entrepreneurs and the skilled workforce. For instance, on weekends, When there's soccer games going on, the governor is there in the stadium. And you discover that all the business people, all the people that are chasing after the governor, they will be going there to meet him. He started then our markets, the Onitsha, the market in Onitsha, for instance, has been there from more than 60 years ago, an international market. But the quality of the market, the infrastructures have gone down. You can't be collecting revenue from the market and feeling that the market can keep you going, whether you have the local allocation, whether you get the federal allocations or not, and you're not improving the infrastructure in the market. The Onitsha market is completely dilapidated. The government must show interest. We have quite some local industries. The government should also show interest in the local industries vis-a-vis what they are teaching in the university. The Inosin Motor Manufacturing Corporation need to have engineers trained in the different universities around. So there must be, the governor must be down building synergy. And I will be happy if Sulu really stays in Anambra State to see that the synergy, that he's building the synergy. That's why I say occasionally with my knowledge on leadership, it's not just your true budget, but your heart, your mind, your spirit, your soul must be involved for you to lead a project and make it succeed.
All right, Chief Okey Nwosu, I mean, thanks for your perspective, but I'm afraid we will have to go on a short break now, but when we return, we'll still come back to you, to expand further on what we're discussing. Please don't go away. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. We're still joined by Chief Ralph Okey Nwosu, who is a politician, a national stakeholder, a leadership expert, and the national chairman of the African Democratic Congress. Thank you for staying with us. When we look at the political structure of this country as it pertains to political parties, for years, it has been two political parties that have dominated discourse, dominated political offices, and that's been the current All Progressive Congress, which are the party in power now, and its immediate rival, the People's Democratic Party. You represent a younger, albeit smaller in comparison, political party, and then the likes of APGA, which has been able to acquire office, as we've seen with Charles Soludo in Anambra. But there's still the discourse that perhaps there isn't enough of a viable alternative to the political status quo when it comes to parties in this country. And I know Steve touched on this with you in the very early parts of our discussion, but I do want to ask you whether or not you think, first and foremost, it's an accurate thing to say that smaller political parties rely on candidates or political members or politicians who fall out of favor from the bigger political parties and then try their hardest to fall back to a smaller group in order to assume office. We see it on higher stakes. If we look at Edo State, for example, we know that Obaseki was unable to secure the ticket from the APC and then defected to the PDP and was successful in retaining his next 4 years in office, albeit with a different political party. And still, when we look at Anambra in the early days, you had candidates like his first name is failing me, but the gentleman who owns United African Airlines, I'll remember his first name, but I believe his last name is Okonkwo. And he also defected.
You mean Obiora?
Thank you, Obiora Okonkwo. Thank you very much. And there was clearly a defection in the early parts of his push to become Anambra governor. So when it comes to smaller political parties, if I can get back to my question, is it correct, is it accurate to say that they usually fill their ranks and become more popular when people fall out of the bigger political parties and join them that way?
Now, I want to explain something to you. I happen to be a founding member of APGA. I was the founding national treasurer. And when that party was founded, I believed that this party can win power. Then I also wanted to contest for the governorship of the state. The moment the party was registered, I took the party to Anambra State and I started running the election. I started running the election. In doing so, I used resources to set up the critical structures that the party needed to win an election. What has happened with, and what happened? That machinery I set up was what delivered the governorship to APGA. But I don't want to go to the story of how I was shortchanged by Peter and Chekwas. I don't want to go there. For me, that has become history. We have to move forward. Now, the problem that has happened with, some of these problems that happen occasionally is that some people, when they want to come into politics, maybe they have some ideas of certain things to do. For some reasons, they feel that they can only actualize it within PDP and APC, which is wrong. And when you invite them and say, come here, let's structure things and see how we can win. Most of them will go to PDP and APC to spend their resources because somehow the culture of the people seem to have penetrated most of the Nigerian elites. That's what happened. So when they've gone to these parties and they've spent their resources, then some few months before the election, they now jump into another party thinking that you can build the structures that you need to win the election within that time. So I think some of them are learning now. If if you want to achieve your aspiration, you can go into any of the party. And if you're a builder, to lead, you must know how to build. Because if you cannot build, then you cannot really lead. You should be able to form an organization. Forming an organization is a science of its own. Now, but the opportunism in us, you jump in, you feel, APC and PDP, no matter how they are, once you get their ticket, they will be able to push you into power. You're not interested in building the needed foundation and laying the needed, the structures that must happen. So, some of the people who are coming to ADC, who have come into ADC before, who are even still coming now, are people who, by the same token, maybe thought that APC or PDP, or even at times APGA, will be the best place for them to go and win an election. But once they got involved with ADC and we start showing them the path, some of them will say, wow, they wish they had known. Take, for instance, of course, I'm in Ekiti State now. We have Dr. Oluyede, one of the finest physicians and social entrepreneur in Ekiti, representing from Ekiti South. ADC brought him out. I think he belonged to the APC before. But when we started approaching him, he didn't even go for the primaries anymore. He joined ADC, and we are building the block to deliver him together. And Nigerians will see what will happen. In Osun State, the same thing. By next week, when we unfold our system, Nigerians will see a pack of entrepreneurs and technocrats. In Lagos State, corporate Nigeria is coming together. Corporate Nigeria are coming together. And you know what they want to do? Corporate Nigeria want to take over Lagos State so that Lagos is a city or a state of corporations and business people. Corporate Nigeria must be able to shape it and not the politicians that are moving around and fighting on the street. Lagos is the epicenter of everything in Africa. So we are getting it right. Some individuals have been into PDP or APC, not knowing. But now, all the technocrats, for instance, in ADC, we already have about 6 presidential aspirants in the person of Professor Mogalo, Dr. Favor Ayodele, Chukwuka Moye, Edumebi Kachukwu, Lady Joyce Nsaka, and others are coming. And with NCF haven't adopted ADC. I think within NCF, they have another 4 presidential aspirants who will be declaring by next week. All of these people are technocrats. From Labour, we are having conversation with Labour. Labour is doing all the consultations because the current Labour leaders have gotten deep into the World Labour Congress. I think the president of Nigeria, NLC, is the president of the World Labour Organization. So he's gotten in touch with his contemporaries, and they say, what is happening in your country? You are our president of the world. Meanwhile, Labour is not asserting themselves in their country. And I think with that learning, he sent a lot of the other Labour leaders to training for them to start to feel the act of belonging to an organization and the act of leading that organization. Because at times, Labour organization and agitations and the leadership are different. But now they are trying to get the leadership aspect. And we are in conversation. Very soon, we will tidy up what we are doing because we want to consult widely. The moment we do it, and before the end of this month, we come out, you see a new Nigeria that is forming and that is aligned to the clear expectation of most Nigerians that Nigeria must be a superpower economy that fits your dream and every other Nigerian's dream, and diversity well managed within 20 years from 2023. So we are working very hard. You can call us fringe parties, you can call us everything. But I can tell you, I have invested more time and energy in crafting something that will serve the greater Nigerian interest. More than any other person, whether you're PDP or APC. We've invested ourselves and so on. And now, Labour leaders, NCF, most patriotic Nigerians are coming together. So yesterday, when we finished, I looked around the people. I said, this is a community of patriots. We have the greatest community of patriots in ADC now, and very soon we unfold them to the whole country, and you will see that when we say enough is enough, you'll see that by February and March, that enough of all of this dissonance and fighting and government not having direction. And when the leader doesn't have direction, it puts all of us, Arise TV, every other station, on heading to no cause. So we must get leadership that has clear direction. We are working on it. It's difficult to see at this moment because of the corruption in the system, but very, very soon you will see the great work that we have done. We tried to do it in 2018 and 2019. Somehow, a lot of political interest made it not to happen. But now, people who are leading the charge are technocrats, not even the names of the politicians that you have mentioned.
Understood. Understood. Well, Ralph Nwosu, we thank you very much for joining us on the morning show today, and we appreciate what has been an insightful conversation.